Started recording. Oh, that was me. Okay. So it is hey, is it recording? Yeah, recording started. And welcome to AWS Solutions Architect Associate and Security class. So I keep doing these kind of stunts, but I've uh, stepped back from offering 3-in-1 or 4-in-1 courses. So even the 2-in-1 course is proving to be 6-month course. Well, mostly maybe because of me as well. It's just Saturday morning and Saturday evening classes. If I put two classes in a week, it might finish earlier. Okay, so we're starting with this AWS 2-in-1 course, and these are the two very critical courses that would look very, very good in your resume. And that's why it is, uh, you know, I've selected these two. In the morning time, there is Microsoft Azure administration and Azure security course going on. And in the evening now, AWS Solutions Architect Associate and AWS Security I'm starting. So it's a deadly combination. So the thing is that you have to be an expert in both Microsoft Azure and AWS to be, going for better jobs, applying for better jobs. They do ask for, you know, infrastructure experience as well, which is that have you, managed on, suppose there's a branch in Toronto, there's a branch in New York, suppose there's global, globally the branches are available for a company. And you've managed that, so they expect that as well. And then there are students who are kind of new to the field, or they don't have vast uh, in infrastructure management experience, and still when they do these certifications and put it on the resume and also perform excellent in the interviews, then so many of the students have gotten those jobs without vast infrastructure management experience, especially on premises infrastructure management experience. So that is one thing. Excuse me. The second thing is that I wanted to mention that you can just put in the chat here. You can see the chat on the top. You can just put any question here in the chat if you have, or you can come on the mic and just simply say the question. All right, let's go ahead. And why AWS is a big deal? Because first of all, AWS was the first cloud services provider, CSP. So these cloud services were started by AWS. AWS had so many data centers spread across all the continents. So they thought that, hey, that hardware that we've purchased, why don't we just rent it? And people can use our hardware to put their applications there, and we're going to protect them, and we're going to offer them fast services. So companies started putting their applications on AWS data centers, and then then the companies thought that, hey, we don't need our data centers. It's AWS data centers that are just fine. I mean, they are much, much, much cheaper. If we go to AWS infrastructure, that is huge. That is vast, right? So we can, yikes, there was, okay. All right, so their AWS infrastructure is huge, and if we, I'm just going to click that, and let's just go around checking that. How big are we talking about, and why is it still better than Azure? But when it comes to GTA, Greater Toronto Area, there are more jobs for Azure, but there are many companies who have already adopted AWS, and there are many companies who have multiple cloud, which is Microsoft Azure as well as AWS, both, in fact, Google Cloud as well. So whichever cloud offers whichever service better and cheaper, and more reliable, secure, scalable, fast, then they go for that service because both actually all three clouds, did I say? Oh, yeah, Microsoft Azure, AWS, Google Cloud, all three provide like 100 plus services, which corporates, big companies need. But who offers more reliable, better services? Well, the cloud services pioneer is AWS, right? I used to teach AWS and Azure, right? And in AWS, whatever I was teaching 2 years ago, so after 1 year, I would see that feature appear in Azure. Then AWS keep on coming up with more and more features, and I would see that after some time that Azure would also have that feature. So, but now Azure has become much mature and they are coming up with their own features as well. But the adaptability rate is that the big companies go for AWS definitely. Well, first thing, it has been the pioneer. Second thing, it's very reliable. It has been having its part of downtimes as well, but it's still reliable, faster, having much more scalability to offer than Azure. So you would see wherever there are job announcements, that there are job openings, they're asking for a AWS Azure, AWS Azure, Azure, Google Cloud, AWS, VMware, AWS Azure. So it's a combination like this. First of all, why AWS in terms of infrastructure? So there are 30 launched regions, each with multiple availability zones. We're going to be talking about what is region. Hmm. And then 96 availability zones. So it keeps on increasing. And then 410 plus points of presence, 400 plus edge locations, and 13 regional edge caches. Now, what are those? Obviously, we're going to be talking about that. But when you see the dots here, that's where the regions are, or they're saying availability zones. So when we say regions, is 30 launch regions, and so 2 years ago it was 16 regions. Now there are 30 regions and 96 availability zones. So what is a region? So region is that big, large space that you can say. If I go to the most sophisticated tool of all times, paintbrush. Okay, so then I would just go for what is region in a cloud. So region would be so region is vast physical vast area. Like suppose it could be East region or East Coast could be considered full region. It depends on Azure and AWS. They would both create regions when there is a need for business or use case for business there, right? So they would just go for a region. So suppose New York, there are so many offices, so many industries beside it. Washington D.C., there are so many services beside that. Toronto, they have lots of businesses there. So whenever there is a large business activity going on, there would emerge a region. So what is a region? A vast physical area divided into availability zones, and then each availability, so divided into availability zones from into six, we can say 3 to 6 availability zones, and each availability zone is divided into 2 to 8 data centers. And how big are the data centers? We can just try to know that too, because we got the data centers, right? So each zone is divided into 2 to 8 data centers. Each data center is or has 100,000 up to 300,000 servers, physical servers, right? So each data center is huge. Now, in one region, there could be more availability zones, and then within one availability zone, there could be 2 to 8 data centers that are nearby. Suppose if you're in Greater Toronto area, then it is, you know, Mississauga, Toronto, and North York, Hamilton. So it could be data centers as close as this, but they're full cities, so a few miles apart. And then other availability zone starts. So if I go back to the map here, so here it says availability zone, 3 availability zones in this is China, Beijing also 3 availability zones, and here this is also, it's not popping up, and Thailand coming soon. So whichever are reds are coming soon. In Canada Central, it has 3 availability zones and launched in 2016, and Northern Virginia. So that's 6 availability zones, and it goes 3 availability zones here. These are all regions. So big regions, vast area. Suppose it's the full GTA, or we can say half of an Ontario province or half of Quebec province. And then in that, they create 3 availability zones, right? And those availability zones have multiple data centers. So suppose your data is here, or your virtual machine is here in North Virginia, and then its copy virtual machine would be here in Northern California. Suppose there's a regional outage, the whole East Coast here is having an outage, or it's not available anymore. So in that case, your customers would connect to the West Coast there, right? So in Canada also, they're creating a data center now, Canada West. Otherwise, there's just one data center, which is Canada Central, which is our province, Ontario, and and Quebec. So the thing is that this is then covering Canada Central because that's where the business is. Other than that, you can see a lot in Europe as well because there's a lot of business here, and you can see in India too, in UAE and Bahrain there are 2 here, and then there's one coming in Israel, as well as in Indonesia and Singapore, and then Japan there are 2, right? And in China there are 4 in China. Wow. So, well, that wherever the business is, right? And one in Australia. So that's how it is that you would see, region. So these are the regions where there are availability zones. In availability zones, there are data centers, 29 local zones, 29 wavelength zones. So there are many other zones that have data centers. So if we go for data center, just to get an overview of that, data centers, AWS. So if I go to images here, then obviously a typical data center you must have seen already that how they look like here. And there's a lot of security for the data centers as well. Obviously, these are just simple looking buildings, but huge in size. And they have then rows and rows of racks inside where there's all the, servers are in line, as I said, 100,000 up to 300,000 servers in one typical data center. It's pretty secure, and even there are lions and tigers are hired here to, if anyone comes, just eat him. Okay, just kidding. So here, because in the jungle, right? It's wow, such a nice area. Okay, so these are data centers. Then they are connected with cables and obviously dugout cables. But then it comes down to cross continent that you are connecting many of your regions to other regions in other continents. But how do you go across your this ocean? So when you go for cables, either you're if you go across the ocean, so you have to use satellites. When it's land, yes, you can dig in, but when it's ocean, what do you do? So there is submarine cable that is deployed in the data center for the data centers between the regions. So if we go for submarine cables, then it would be like this. So divers are just checking those cables there if they want to put it up again. Well, once they put it down, this is where submarine cables are being laid on the ocean floor. And you can just keep putting down, and these are pretty heavy. So even sharks cannot really, or any kind of creature cannot really damage it. Inside, it looks like this, and there it's a huge operation, risky operation that goes on across the ocean floor. And inside this, there are so many layers, metallic layers, and also fiber optic going there. So this is how they are, and when they are really fixing the lines, ocean cables. So AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, they have invested on their own submarine cables, right? And that's you can imagine that it's pretty expensive. It's going across continents. From the whole ocean floor has to be covered, and how they're putting it. There's a tugboat going, and it's just laying the cables down here on the ocean floor wherever it is possible, right? So this is how vast the operation is, and how they have done the investments. uh, and this means also, when you are sending data, your critical company data, from one continent to another, and you're thinking, hey, is it going on shared cables? No, it's not. It's like the cable that has shared data of thousands of companies that is traveling around. So there could be hacker attacks there as well. There could be perpetrators there impersonating as the other party while getting your critical data. So that's why AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, they all say that, hey, it's our own proprietary submarine cables that we put there, spending billions of dollars on that. So your data is secure when it is traveling in our own network, right? It's not shared with, it's only AWS traffic going on, or only Azure traffic going on, or only Google Cloud traffic going on. So that's how it is so much uh, investment that they have put there to connect, and they can claim safely that yes, it is very secure because this is our own proprietary network, right? They have to just put the cables across the continents as well, so it is a pretty sophisticated operation. And you can see in long ocean floors, it just passes by cable through ocean floor, right? So these are the data centers, and lots of data centers, and very secure data centers that have been built, and billions of dollars have been spent there, right? So if we go back there, that's what they're saying, that we have regions which are vast physical areas near business centers, and then they have divided those regions into availability zones, and those availability zones are divided into data centers. So there used to be a globe, animated globe that AWS used to offer or show. If I go for infrastructure dot, okay, so there's a Microsoft one. I'll just load that globe anyway. But it was AWS who started that animated globe, where how vast their infrastructure is. So infrastructure.aws, but then they actually removed it. uh, what globe am I talking about? It's loading here, but that's Microsoft's. It's our arch rival. This is how we could see that their infrastructure is going. So right now, this is obviously Microsoft's um, infrastructure that they're showing, but this is how Amazon used to show their infrastructure as well. And but I don't know why they removed that globe. Okay. Anyway, let's go ahead learn more about global edge network. Maybe it's there still, but I was really amazed that why would they remove it? Oh, anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about next, which is certifications or AWS jobs. First of all, And well, there are many jobs, high-paying jobs for AWS, and those high-paying jobs are, um, they start from 90,000 per year to 110, 130,000 per year for full time. And contracts even 50 per hour, 60 per hour. Well, it could be 30 per hour, 40 per hour as well. Depends on how much you know. So there are many jobs in Toronto, and that is a senior systems engineer job, and they have always they have VMware as well, and Azure would be AWS. Azure is also there. So there are many jobs here. Network engineer also. There are uh, you know uh, here the combination. I'm just showing the combination: AWS, Cisco, uh, Unix, and always try to go for. Uh, this is very strange that this particular company did not mention Azure. Otherwise, it's always AWS Azure, AWS Azure, right? So there's also Cisco AWS. Okay, so AWS jobs are more actually because I just put AWS there, so only those are coming. So it's purely networking, and then again there is Azure and AWS all there. Actually, it's also showing just Azure, but there's AWS. That's why it's showing here. So yeah, there are so many jobs, and if you keep going down, GTA is full of job announcements, and this is page one. These are all Toronto and hybrid and remote as well, and totally remote jobs as well that they need cloud engineers. So you have to have these certifications, and obviously the main thing is the skills. Even if you don't get certification, do you know how to really work on it? My suggestion would be when you learn, then put it on your resume as well. Okay, that I can configure VPCs or networks, storage, and all other things I can create there. So you can just put it in a resume, so it would be very attractive. But the thing is that um, even IT administrator with what? Even administrator with the like 50,000, 55,000 per year, they also need skills, AWS skills there. So high paying jobs and kind of moderate paying jobs are there as well, where they require AWS. So AWS so much in. Now, if we go ahead, yes, there are so many jobs for AWS in GTA. We get that, and Greater Toronto area, right? So if we go ahead, there is certification track then. So we have like foundational certification, professional level certifications, associate level certifications, and then specialty certifications as well. Now, um, those who are doing cloud practitioners, so this is good. You're telling the companies, yes, I know fundamentals obviously of AWS, but it doesn't get you much further, or maybe a desktop support job you could get. But when it comes to if you have done professional or associate certifications, actually I'm targeting this associate certification here. That is where you are supposed to know the whole infrastructure as well as your hands-on on many services. So that's why associate covers a lot of ground in terms of you can decide, you can actually tell the companies, hey, this is the infrastructure, and we need to configure it this way. We need 50 virtual machines. We need 30 subnets, and we need two databases. So you can architect as well, but it's associate level. As well as you have to know a lot of main services like how virtual machines work, how storage work, how databases work in AWS, and it's pretty different from Azure. That's why it has to be learned. You have to go through it. But if you have done Azure or you will be doing Azure, so if you have done Azure, AWS, learning AWS will not be that kind of challenge because main concepts are same, but how to do it is quite different. And there are some advances that AWS offers that Azure does not offer. So that's why it's pretty important. Even if you've done Azure administration, AWS is not that easy. So it comes to, if I go to certifications here, then I'll go to Azure or AWS certifications, which is, I'll just grab it from here. Yeah, AWS certifications. And in AWS certifications, that's where what certification we should be going for in terms of importance and training and certification when it comes to so there's solutions architect, cloud practitioner. We talked about that. Kind of, yes, it's okay if you have time, that kind of time, and you can wait for a better job longer. Otherwise, go for the tough ones. Market needs those who have really complicated uh, technological concepts, right? So you can give company a full map or full architecture of how they should. So suppose they ask you, hey, we have so much data here. Suppose it's a hospital, and they say that, okay, that we want to put everything on AWS. So can you suggest them easily whatever they have on premises, you can migrate them to cloud AWS. So how would you do that? You have to know AWS inside out, and then you can suggest to them, okay, you need that many databases, that kind of authentication, and it's VMware on premises or Azure or not Azure, Hyper-V. So how do you migrate the data and virtual machines, right? To AWS. So for that, we need to really know AWS. So that's why I'm targeting solutions architect, where you should know inside out of AWS, and you should be able to inform others or explain to others that how their network should be on AWS, right? So in that case, so I'm going to be going through this certification related details as well, but let me just put it in. Okay, so I'm going to go for some of the exam objectives as well. So that's why I'm opening this page. Prepare, resource, benefit. Yeah. So it's the associate that we are targeting, and in that associate there is AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate, then there is AWS Certified Developer Associate, and then there is SysOps Administrator Associate. Now, I was wondering that, okay, Azure Administrator I'm teaching, and there's a lot of labs there, right? Hands-on, pretty. But what about AWS SysOps Administrator? So it does not cover all the features that an administrator should know from infrastructure administrator point of view. More services should be covered. So that's why solutions architect associate, that's why I chose that, because it is falling to that line where an infrastructure administrator who has to take care of pretty much a lot of services all around the company, that infrastructure administrator should know those services. So those all services are listed in solutions architect, but less of those services is listed in are listed in sysops administrator. So first you do this, then if you can go for sysops administrator, that would be good. Or first you do this solutions architect and then go for solutions architect professional. That would be the next level. Better if you do this and go for some of the specialty ones. Advanced networking, suppose your background is Cisco, CCNP, maybe CCIE, then advanced networking would be very good. If you've been working on database, you're a DBA, then solutions architect and database specialty, data analytics, that would be good. Otherwise, machine learning and SAP. So these are according to your specific field, if you want to really explore the machine learning certification. So we are going for the main one, the security specialty, which is very critical. So first you need to know inside out of solutions architect, AWS solutions architect, and then you need to secure it, right? So first, solutions architect that explains the whole AWS, how it is working, not whole, because it has 100 plus services. We will not be going to all the services, but whatever is and could be the responsibility of infrastructure administrator. First, if we go through that, then how to secure it, right? I've heard many students saying that, oh, I'm going directly for cybersecurity. So then I ask them, hey, you know inside out of infrastructure and how the networks, the databases really work, then you go to secure them, right? So first you know how they work inside out. That's where, because security is so in demand, so those who are even starting in IT, they say, oh, I will go to security. No, first become an administrator, infrastructure admin, and then go for security, right? There now, from these certifications, uh, the best right now for infrastructure admin, suppose you're a developer, you're a programmer, okay, go for developer. I mean, go for solutions architect still, then go for developer, right? If that's your field. So if you're a network guy, solutions architect, networking, solutions architect, security. These two go hand in hand. In my company, I'm doing also. There was an external auditing going on by another company in Quebec, security company in Quebec. Maybe some of you may know that. They have run their security software against our infrastructure. Now, when I joined 2 years ago, this current company, there was not much in terms of security that was configured properly for end users, for the devices, and for infrastructure as a whole. So then for 2 years, we worked hard. I gave a plan to the company, to my director, that the end user devices should be protected and security hardening should be done, and then Azure environment and Microsoft 365 environment. We went through all the security. Now the audit happened after 2 years. So the audit report was good. So that was something of a relief that they did give some recommendations. Oh, make it even more secure. But overall, your security posture is good. That's what we got. So it was like a big relief. But the thing is that we knew what the Azure and AWS infrastructure inside out is, and then we were able to pinpoint the security options there, right? Okay, so this is overall what we're going to do. We're going to record the whole configuration there. And we're going to, it's going to be totally hands-on labs. We're going to be creating a free tier account for 1 year. You can use, in order to create a free tier account, you have to put your credit card there. Now, any of the generous students can offer their credit card to everyone else. I'm just kidding. Okay. Then you can create an account. So I'm going to show you how to do that. But before that, I'm going to go for Solutions Architect Associate, what we're going to cover there, and then the security, what we're going to cover there. AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate, learn more about the certification and AWS resources. So this link is already there um, that's it. Yeah. In the slide, which I will be sharing with you, as well as I'm putting it in WhatsApp and also in this chat, Teams chat. So you can open that link from on your side as well and try to check out this page. So AWS Solutions Architect Associate showcases. So what are you supposed to have in terms of skills when this is over? So associate knows. Oops. Yeah, maybe I pressed some button here, but is the screen still sharing or not? Oh, I think somebody else shared a screen. Okay, I'll just share back. Yikes. What did okay, so yeah, here I put the screen back. Now what we were talking about that what skills you should have, right? Um Obviously the course, IT course should be done in such a way that you should be learning it by doing it, right? So it should be total hands-on course. So that's what I offer, and that some of the students who have already attended my courses. So it's pretty hands-on. So in AWS Solution Architect Associate, it's going to be even tougher than other courses. Then I'm going to tell you about this certification as well. That why this certification particularly is tougher than other certifications. Um, and okay, so first of all, this what skills showcases knowledge and skills in AWS technology across a wide range of AWS services. So there are so many services in AWS. You need to know majority of them because even an AWS interview when AWS itself has a job opening and they conduct interview, their interview, I found one of the toughest one. And I was not mentally ready for that. And I was like, oh, okay, sure, whatever they ask. And the way they asked that, it was like pretty particular about certain solution, certain issue and its solution. But I was like, seriously, I'm thinking, and they ran out of time and they started another question, then another question, then another question. So I was like, whoa, that was a roller coaster ride. Anyway, so that's why they are on top of the planet Earth in terms of providing CSP. They are very good and professional. So when you go through all the labs, you will see that they really offer excellent options there, right? Okay, so the focus of this certification is on the design of cost and performance optimized solutions, demonstrating a strong understanding of the AWS well-architected framework. So they're saying that you not only that you have to be technical person, but you have to know the underlying cost of whatever you're about to create or recommend to your boss. Hey, boss, we need 5 virtual machines, EC2 instances. We call virtual machines in AWS as EC2 instances, right? So create 5 virtual machines, create 5 EC2 instances, EC2, right? So you need to know that what kind of heavy machine are you creating? Like how much processor are you giving to the machine? How much RAM you're giving to the machine? And how much storage you're giving to the machine? How much security you're giving to the machine? You need to know all that. So the cost, you need to know the cost, underlying cost of that, and how good it will perform. You need to know that too. So obviously, when you create yourself, you will know that, right? Demonstrating a strong understanding of the AWS well-architected framework. So, what is the full framework? What is the full architecture of AWS? We're going to talk about that. This certification can enhance the career profile and earnings of certified individuals and increase your credibility and confidence in stakeholder and customer. Yes, they're literally right about that. It is going to be tough, but it is, there's a price only for tough and complicated stuff. If you know the easy stuff, everyone knows easy stuff, right? So companies will not pay you for something that everyone knows. They will pay you for what is more complicated and fewer people will know that. And when you tell in the interview, they will know that, okay, can you really go through about AWS? Can you just handle all the services together? Okay.
Amir, can you share
Yeah,
the screen? Right now, we only see you talking. So I was
that's
wondering
okay.
if, yeah, so your screen disappeared. So we only see the you
Um,
and the
you're able to see
participants.
that now?
Yes, yes. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Oops. Okay, sorry. Um, I needed to see if, oh, stand out, side by side. Oh, that's Porter, content only, keep control. Okay. Um, hmm. And am I still sharing the screen? Yes, it is still shared. Okay, great. Okay, let's carry on. Now, what we need to do here, yeah, we were talking about who should take this exam. So normally AWS expects that you are already working in a company and you are handling AWS for a long time and or at least for 2 years, and then you're giving this exam. So obviously, in colleges and online classes, it's the opposite of that. It's total beginners also join, and then there are some experienced people who also join. So we have to do the labs in such a way that every experience level can actually do those labs and follow the course content. Okay, so experience in AWS technology. Who should take this course? If you want to have experience in AWS technology, strong on-premises IT experience and understanding of mapping on premises to cloud. Ouch. So they're saying that what are we expecting from you if you are about to go for AWS certification? And so they're saying that, hey, you should have good IT experience and understanding of whatever local branch, suppose there's a Toronto local branch, right? Mapping on premises to cloud. So whatever is in the local branch, are you able to map it to the cloud, right? So yeah, that was a previous class drawing. The thing is that suppose you have a branch here, and that is Toronto branch, and you have AWS cloud here, right? AWS cloud. Now, suppose there's a lot of file servers here. There are physical servers with hypervisor, either VMware technology is here. So there's the VMware hypervisor or Microsoft hypervisor, right? If those are there and there are virtual machines on top of those hypervisors, right? There are virtual machines. So there are virtual machines. There's a web server, there's a print server, there is database server, virtual machine here, file server, multiple file servers here, right? So in that case, the data on that machine needs to be transferred from the virtual machine to the cloud. So can you map the data in local branch to the cloud, right? So that's one thing. Not only that, data needs to be, we can say, synchronized, we can say replicated to cloud, and also virtual machines, whole virtual machines need to be migrated to cloud, like, one way or even two ways. What is two way? That you put the machine in the cloud and then you want it back. So then how to put the machine back to the on-premise environment. On-premises, the virtual machine will be either on VMware virtualization platform or Microsoft virtualization platform, right? So how do you move back and forth the data, or just move or upload continuously, automatically all the data to the cloud, right? So that is one of the things that they are expecting from us. So obviously, I tend to add a lot of labs there, and one of the labs is also that storage gateway, where we're going to have our own VMware-based virtual machine, and from there we're going to synchronize some data in the cloud, right? So that's something that we're going to be doing. Now they're saying that experience working in other cloud services. So if you have experience in other cloud services as well, like Azure, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud, or any other cloud, so that would be very good for understanding AWS services, right? If you have no experience, it's okay. We will still be able, you will still be able to do all the, topics. You will be able to understand and do all the labs because it's recorded. You can repeat always. You can't miss anything. So other than that, if you have experience, then AWS will be fun to understand. Okay, so exam overview is level associate, 130 minutes to complete the exam, 150 US dollars, and visit exam pricing for additional cost information. 65 questions, either multiple choice or multiple response. So multiple responses could be also there. Person view testing center or online proctor. So you can give it from the at home from home as well. What you learn preparing for and attaining this certification will showcase knowledge and skills in compute, networking, storage, database, AWS services. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to be creating, virtual machines there or EC2 instances. We're going to be creating networks there. We're going to be creating storage there, and we're going to be creating databases there as well, right? AWS deployment and management services, knowledge and skills in deploying, managing, operating workloads in on AWS, as well as implementing security controls and compliance requirements. So that's typically what a infrastructure administrator does. Um, Deploying, managing, operating workloads on AWS, as well as implementing security controls and compliance requirements. So uh, all this we will be following up as well. What kind of security we need? Actually, there's a separate security certification we're going to be doing labs for. But what kind of heavy workloads? Workload is you have a virtual machine, you have a database, you have a lot of data somewhere for files and folders. So that is all workload. Knowledge and skills in using the AWS Management Console. So that's the headquarters where everything is living. That's the headquarter where everything is living. AWS Management Console. So today I'm going to also show you that how to create a user account there with the help of your you know credit card, and also okay. So yeah, virtues all working from home. There are screaming moms and stubborn kids. So anyway, knowledge and skills in using the AWS Management Console and the AWS command line. So we're going to be running some commands and trying to do some of the work from there as well. Now, command line interface, CLI, understanding of the AWS world architecture, architected framework, AWS networking services. So yeah, obviously, we're going to be going through the whole AWS infrastructure to understand what is this. Ability to identify which AWS services meet a given technical requirement. Okay, so this course is going to be hands-on, so you will know a lot of technical stuff, and we're going to be practicing and redoing everything again, again, and again, right? Uh, what does it take to earn this certification? To earn this certification, you will need to take and pass the AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate exam. Now, this is the code for this exam, right? AWS Solutions Architect Associate exam. I'll just put it here and also here. Okay. So there's a download the exam guide. There's download the sample questions as well and prepare for your exam. So they have also put some resources there, exam guide, sample questions, practice, and then question set and digital training. And then there is webinar. But, these are kind of basics, and you can't really then understand one-sided click, click, click that what's going on. unless somebody's there to answer your questions as well. And the trainings are also quite limited in terms of labs. So exam prep with AWS Skill Builder, you can also purchase a Skill Builder where there's lots of exam practice questions. AWS training for solutions architects. So what do you need for the training? And then their very expensive classroom training as well. And then there are AWS whiteboard. So all the resources for this critical certification are on this page, but we're going to go a bit different. We're going to start from scratch and we'll start understanding one by one what's going on with AWS. Now, this is AWS Solutions Architect Associate. Uh, and I'm just going to go ahead a little more, download the exam guide. And on this page, we will be seeing this, right? So first of all, this is SAA CO3. So that's the latest exam. So do not go for SAA CO2. CO3 is the latest exam. Second thing is that there's a book, there's a study guide that they have released for this. And if I go to Amazon.ca and oh, that's good. So there's a study guide they have released already. Otherwise, normally if it's new, then it's always still coming. So this is the study guide that is Kindle edition is $46 and paperback is 62. Um, and this is the one that is recommended. Um, yep. So $46, not bad. I mean, you have a study guide with all the questions covered. I'm just gonna put it in the chat as well, so you could just you know open that as well on your side. And uh, okay, so that's the book that you need, and uh, after so I'm just going to go for some of the exam topics that you will be seeing there, that especially we need the skills to be learned first because we need a job obviously, or better job, or do some projects in future. If I go down, exam results, content online, so they are testing you on these domains. One is design secure architectures, design resilient architectures. So secure architectures, again, security course is separate, but obviously this course also is about how to secure. First, we're gonna know basics, then we're gonna go for security of that. So resilient architectures means highly available. You have a virtual machine and it's available in one region or in one availability zone or in one data center. Do you need a copy of that virtual machine in another region, availability zone, or data center? So, and how highly variable that is, how much data is resilient. Suppose there's a disaster on AWS side, so there copies of data somewhere else? So that's it comes in resiliency. So there's business continuity, high availability, and disaster recovery. So disaster did strike. Can you recover that data? Where is that second, third, fourth copy? Did you also create a copy across the continent or in another continent entirely, right? So resilience is all about that. So we're going to talk about how resilient AWS infrastructure is. It's pretty resilient. Design high performing architectures. So you need speed, obviously, you need high availability, you need it to all be secure, right? So that's the need of every business. Cost optimized. Obviously, when you need all this, You don't want to put a big dent on your budget as well. So can you achieve high performance, full resiliency, and high security with cheaper costs? So there are costlier ways to do it, and there are cheaper ways to do it as well. So can you do you know, first of all, which options are less costly but does come or abide by your company's compliance policies and standards that you want maintained. So with lower cost, obviously, when you go in depth, you will know that which one is the most cost effective way to use the resources for the benefit of company's business. Okay, so if we go ahead, then they say that design secure access. So then they say, hey, you need to know access controls. You need to know management across multiple accounts. So we're going to create one account there, right? One account with a credit card, but you want to create another. So companies, they're earning in millions or maybe billions, right? So they can say that, hey, create one AWS account with just production environment related. So one AWS account, it's for production resources. What resources? Virtual machines, which are called EC2 instances, storage for all the files, the critical files and folders, networking, so we can practice inside and create a data flow that this data goes to this machine, but not to this machine. And databases, obviously, all your data is critical company data is there. So this is production environment which cannot be disturbed at all, which has to work perfectly, which has to be perfectly secured, which has to be resilient, available all the time, right? So you need to be concerned about this account particularly. But when you come to then other account, oh, we are introducing a new software that we're purchasing in $100,000 license. We're purchasing $100,000 worth of licenses, but we want to test it vigorously without affecting our production environment. So the company says, why don't you create a second AWS account with another credit card? And that would be our test environment. We can test resources and then we can create test virtual machines, test storage. We can test pretty much everything here, but it should not affect the other environment. So, oh, you have multiple accounts. Now, this is one way to divide it, but then there is another way to divide it. Third AWS account you can create. Suppose there are first account may be dealing with only sales department and administration department machines, or it's dealing with just the north or the European side of business. It's not. So other one would be North America uh, business, and you can create a third account where all the resources for North America, all the production resources for North America. So you can divide the accounts with different type of different needs. You want it to be separate in terms of business, like if the credit card added here. Now you know that the cost for North American operations and business is this, and European operations and business is this, because the separate credit cards are showing you total numbers. You know it right away then, right? So suppose you have multiple business accounts or AWS accounts. So how do you manage those multiple business accounts there, right? Access controls, who has access to what? So obviously there are managers, there are administrators, and then there are end users, right? And actually there is SMT, which is senior management team, right? So there are different levels for everyone. Management team. So who gets access to what and why? And for how long? Who gets access to what and why and for how long? Right? This is your question always, always, right? Who gets access to what and why and for how long? So these are four questions that you have to go for. And then we go ahead and what does AWS Federated Access and Identity Services. Now, Federated Access and Identity Services. Now, I had done that project in my company for um, identity services. Like again, IAM, it was the project name, and Identity and Access Management. So, which user connects for how long to which resource and why? So all that was sorted out, cleaned up, and new rules were created, new procedures and processes were created, and some automated processes built into AWS and to Azure Active Directory were also implemented. So this is the same with AWS as well. That again, what I was seeing again and again, saying again and again, that who gets access to what, why, and how long. So this is all this. But when it comes to SSO, is there any local branch connected to AWS? Is there another domain, another company's website connected to your AWS? So that is called single sign on. So if we go back to this, so suppose there's another company here, right? And maybe you've heard about this is famous one, Salesforce.com. So that company, Salesforce.com, is their employees want to use some services that you have set up in your AWS cloud. So now I suppose there are 5,000 users here, 5,000 users. Now those all users need to access some services that you have set up here, customized services that you have set up here, which they really need to use. So what you can do to give these 5,000 users access to these services in AWS cloud. Either you can create those same 5,000 user accounts here as well, one by one. You can create all 5,000 accounts and then tell them, hey, this is your password. Come here, log in from the accounts that we created here and use our services. Or you can say, hey, Salesforce, I trust your authentication, so you go ahead and check the username password of these 5,000 users. And if you say, yes, the password is correct, I will trust you. And go ahead, you can bring your users here and I will let them use my services, right? So you trust their authentication. This is all done by single sign-on. This means that users, when they sign into their company, they don't have to sign in again to the other company. So they can access the resources of another company by just logging in from their own company. So that is SSO. So how to configure that? What are the configurations that AWS offers? AWS global infrastructure, for example, availability zones. So yeah, what are those? I did explain a little, but we're going to go in depth with that. What are regions and what in terms of the global infrastructure, we're going to be talking in detail and more in depth. AWS security best practices. For example, the principle of least privilege. So yes, everyone should have least privilege. Suppose you're the top administrator, you have access to pretty much everything because you're responsible for everything. That's why. But it's a possibility that your account can be hacked as well. And if that happens, then pretty much that hacker can do anything with your company's critical data and critical resources. How do you secure highly privileged accounts? How do you let them be accessed, or those privileges be there with an account, attached with the account for least amount of time? Oh, you need higher privileges to do this. Okay, so connect with that account, get those higher privileges, do your job, and then remove yourself from those privileges right away, so you don't have the higher privileges always. So if you get hacked, hacker does not have anything, any privileges automatically, right? So how do you achieve that? We're going to talk about that AWS shared responsibility model. So shared responsibility is that AWS says that, hey guys, companies, users, when you create virtual machines on our AWS, and when you put some data there on our AWS, we AWS know that this is very critical virtual machine for you. This is very critical data for you. Yes, we know that, but it is not 100% our responsibility, excuse me, that it is secure. What are you saying, AWS? Hey, we are paying you. So suppose the company says, we are paying you, AWS, to put our machines and data there. So you are 100% responsible for that. So AWS says, no, we are not 100% responsible. It's a shared responsibility. And you ask, how? And AWS answers that, hey, we have put so many security tools there for you to choose and implement from. So did you implement all the security of those tools? Where there are some customized security. Suppose they put harshest security, toughest security. Then you say, hey, how can I access that? How can I access, release some access, lose some access? So they say that we have provided the tools to you. Did you implement all these tools with the correct configuration or not? Are you knowledgeable enough to put security in those in for your critical virtual machines and critical data? So if you did not put any recommended securities manually yourself, and some hacker attacks and gets your data, that is your responsibility. Our responsibility, okay, underlying hardware, that will be perfect, that will be secure. We don't let anyone enter our data centers without authorization, and we offer encryption to your data. We copy your data in three places. That's where we are responsible, underlying and infrastructure wise, some ways. But when it comes to security tools, did you enable encryption on some more data? There's some default encryption, then there is double encryption. There are some other ways to encrypt as well. uh, there are some data that cannot be encrypted. Suppose you create a virtual machine, automatically they cannot encrypt your data. So this means that you have to encrypt your data. Did you do that? Did you uh, did you work on access control? Who gets what's access? What access? Suppose an end user you gave administrative access, and that end user was just an end user, non-technical guy. He got hacked, he or she got hacked, and now through that end user's account, they have just stolen your data. So that is your responsibility. Did you work on authorization, right? So this is called shared responsibility, that you are also responsible for your data, not only the cloud service provider, right? So they just provide you a tool, they expect you to be knowledgeable about those tools. That's why there are certifications. The more knowledge you have, the better safety you can put there. Skills in applying AWS security best practices to IAM users, identity and access management. Again, your identity, your username, password, right? Is it correct? Did you use MFA, multi-factor authentication? If not, you're responsible for that, not AWS. AWS offered MFA feature. Did you enable it for all the users? So you're responsible for that if you didn't and you got hacked, right? So identity and access management. Identity means that your username password is okay, and it's been confirmed that it is you that who's connecting with multi-factor authentication, two factors. One is password, one is cell phone code, right? And root users, if you are Linux gurus, then root users means the users that have the highest, privileges. So those root users were protected or not. Other than that, designing a flexible authorization model. So who gets the authorization to use critical virtual machines and data, right? So you have to be very, very careful in all this. So that's what we're going to learn, that how to really fix that, how to come up with a better authorization solution there. Designing security strategy for multiple AWS accounts. Again, if you have multiple accounts, you have to have some good security strategy. If one account was pretty secure, but the second account had less security. So through that, some hacker logged in and checked everything. Since they're all connected with each other, so the hacker now has access to the other accounts as well. So all accounts should be centrally secured and authorization should be restricted, right? Okay. Then security control policies. Yeah, we're going to go through all the policies as well. Resource policies, determining the appropriate use of resource policies for AWS. So there should be a policy to access resources for how long and what privilege on the resources the user should have. Determining when to federate a directory service with IAM roles. So federate is, and federation word came before as well, federated access. Now this is if you have your own you have multiple branches, on-premises branches, and you have implemented there is Active Directory Federation Services, ADFS. If you have implemented that, ADFS does what? It offers SSO, single sign-on, which means a user in this branch logs in from Windows 10 or 11 and wants to access something that is here in AWS. So the user just logs in once and tries to open something here. There's a URL for this link here, right? So ADFS detects that, oh, the user is trying to access something outside of this company. So ADFS then checks that if you've already configured ADFS to communicate with the AWS cloud, then it checks that, is this our user? Is this company correct company that the user is connected to? Is the application inside correct? So it checks a lot of things and then it securely connects the user to a resource that is outside of this branch, right? So that's how ADFS or federation works. Other than that, design secure workloads and applications. So application configuration and credential security, obviously, it's again, your username password is secure or not. Service endpoints, you're connected to which service, are you securely connected to that? Control ports and protocols. Obviously, when the traffic is going, is it which type of traffic you want to allow, which type of traffic you don't want to allow. So all that you have to do, but don't be overwhelmed with so much terminology here. We're going to go simple. We're going to start simple, and we're going to explore all the options one by one, step by step. And I'm going to go at your speed, and you can ask as many questions as you want for anything. So I'll make sure that it is all understandable for you. Then it's up to you how much repetition you do, how much you repeat the labs, right? So security services with appropriate use cases. Again, it's all about security. It's talking about skills in. Then it goes to DDoS, distributed denial service attacks, and SQL. So your databases could be attacked. Do you know how to secure them? Then there is your networks, VPC, your security groups, your route tables, access control lists, and NAT gateways, which provide internet connection to private IPs, right? So all subnets, everything, how do you secure that? So that's a full emphasis on security. Secure architectures. This is like, but security certification is even more in depth. This is kind of scratching the surface. Determine appropriate data security controls. So data access and governance, recovery. If you lost data, how can you recover? Can you retain data for 10 years, 20 years, 50 years? Can you classify your data? Right? Oh, this is confidential. This is non-confidential data, and we can delete it after 2 years. This is confidential data. It's critical, and it will have only 3 or 4 people will have access to that, and we will retain it for 50 years, right? So suppose you have some kind of retention policy, you classify the document as well, which is important, which is not important. Encryption and appropriate key management. So when you encrypt, there's an encryption key, and when you decrypt to open the document, there's a decryption key, right? Aligning AWS technologies to meet compliance requirements. So it's all about still security, we're talking about an encryption. So then it comes to resiliency. And they expect you to know that API creation and management, for example, Amazon API, Gateway, REST API. So what are those? API is application programming interface. So it's one application, either you're connecting. So suppose there's an application here. You want some service here or an app needs to connect. So you come up with some kind of connectivity or tool. That is all API, that from one app to another app, you have some kind of connector or small application or tool that is letting you connect to the big application or service here. So that is API. And then there is AWS managed services with appropriate use cases, transfer family, Amazon simple user. So I'm going to be explaining the whole thing in simple words. But right now it's just saying that, oh, you need to know this, you need to know that. Event-driven architectures, monitoring, scaling, vertical scaling. We're going to do labs on all those. So you will totally understand what's going on here. Right now, I'm just going through what topics we're going to cover. But the way we're going to cover it, it should be fun and it should be step by step and in a very simple way, right? Okay, so other than that, how to migrate applications into containers? Like seriously? Okay, so if you have applications that are here in on-premises, or suppose you have applications in a virtual machine. So you have EC2 instances or virtual machines, and those virtual machines are actually costing you more. Oh, that's a lot of cost. So then you think that, hey, this application here, can I move it from virtual machine to a container, which is a much simpler version. It's not a virtual machine, obviously, but it's much simpler version there, right? So, oh, there was another student who was my understanding was having some issues. Okay, there are two students who had put a message there that they were not able to connect or they're having issues. So resolve that. So yeah, there will be. I'll just tell him. I'll just put the link there. And
Yeah, Abir bhai, can you make the screen bigger so we can? It's hard to read the words on the screen.
oh, well, that seems to be big enough. I mean, like how I think there is a control on Teams as well, where you can make it bigger on your side by, um, if there's a magnifier on your side. I am not really sure. Guys, are you able to see the whole thing, or is it it needs to be much bigger?
And for the chat is also said, you are not a account member, so you cannot see the chat. Like you
Oh,
have to
okay.
be member of team to see the chat.
So there is that's why I'm putting it on WhatsApp as well, all the links, so you can check on WhatsApp site what's going
Okay,
on. Oh,
thank you.
yeah. So guys, here um, it's just saying that you can how to migrate to containers. Now, this is not in Azure. This is only it's only in AWS, that how to actually migrate to Azure or migrate to containers. So container is just simpler form of, it's kind of a virtual machine. It's not virtual machine, but it is smaller, simpler, and it handles microservices. So virtual machine can handle full big application, while um, the containers go for smaller pieces of that application called microservices that you can put there. So they are lighter, they start fast, and then they cost less. So this is what they're saying, that they should also that we will be studying. Load balancing concepts, we're going to have a load balancing lab where we will be creating two virtual machines here. And so we will be creating two virtual machines. And on those virtual machines, we're going to create a load balancer. We're going to just put it there. So there will be a load balancer. So what does it basically do? Balancer. So the end users, when they're connecting to, so there's some web services here, web site here, and there are thousands of end users connecting there. So when they are connecting, uh, or thousands of end users, right? End user. So it's it is balancing the load by putting first user here, second user here, third user here, fourth user here. It's dividing the traffic among two virtual machines, or maybe 10 virtual machines, maybe 50 virtual machines, maybe 100 virtual machines, right? So the load balancer just tries to divide the traffic among different virtual machines to not overwhelm one virtual machine with all the traffic, right? So we're going to have a lab on that. We're going to create two virtual machines or EC2 instances, and then we're going to create a load balancer, and I'm going to check it out. So this is the lab. There, multi-tier architectures, multi-tier architectures. Uh, Here. So we're going to be talking about that as well. What is a multi-tier architecture? And Okay, so we're going to go for, suppose there is web applications, there are databases in the background, and then there's a third tier there as well. So well, we're going to talk about that. How do you deploy big applications for thousands and thousands of users? Queuing and messaging concepts. So this is just about applications talking to each other and how queuing really works. Serverless technologies and patterns, for example. AWS Fargate and AWS Lambda. This is very unique. Uh, Azure also offers that. But what is serverless? So serverless is that you suppose you create a big application, right? You create a code for the application. Now, what is a code? Like programmers actually go for code. Now that when the programmers have put that code, they want to test that code. Now for testing, what happens is they realize that it's a big application that this code will run. So they need 20 20 machines, 20 servers. And each server should have maybe 10 cores, processors, and then it should have 32 GB RAM, and then it should have 1 TB SSD storage, 1 TB SSD hard disks, right? So now the developers have created a code for application, but they want to test it. And the company says, oh, we don't want to purchase all this. So what do we do? So there is AWS Lambda application, Lambda service. What does that do? And Fargate, Lambda service, Fargate service. So they say that, okay, whatever you have written, Mr. Developer or developers, why don't you copy paste code, your code in Lambda console or dashboard or screen, um, and copy paste your code in Lambda console. What happens? It figures out how much underlying hardware is needed and arranges that automatically um, it's because it is AWS underlying. It's working on underlying data centers. Data centers have thousands and thousands of powerful physical servers. So Lambda is working on top of those physical servers. When you copy paste your code there, it just realizes, oh, okay, it needs 10 core processors, 20 servers, which all have 10 core processors, 32 GB RAM, or it could just analyze that, okay, maybe 64 GB RAM, maybe 20 core processors, and 50 terabyte disks instead of that. So it's going to automatically arrange that and run your code. Obviously, it's going to charge you for whatever processing, RAM, hard disk, IOPS that you have used. But the thing is, you don't have to purchase first contacting Dell. Hey, Dell, I need, or IBM, I need these many servers. Okay, in 6 weeks, you're going to get it. And then we're waiting. And then when it comes, then put it in the racks. And then, so it's a 8 to 10 weeks project. Instead, you just go, you finish the code instead of 8 to 10 weeks, log into AWS, open Lambda, copy paste the code. It figures out how much hardware you need, how much power you need to create or run that application that was created from that code. So that's pretty amazing. And you just pay for that hardware. You were going to purchase it, but it would have taken so much time. So you had that budget already. And it just simply executes and shows you the application running and shows you all the features running inside. You can test it, you can actually run it there and keep paying the underlying hardware cost. So it's pretty amazing how it works. So that's what it's saying that serverless technologies, um, where you don't care about the hardware, you don't know what kind of hardware is there. You just use the above consoles, the screen, storage types with associated characteristics. So when you upload files and folders, so is it secure? Suppose you're updating terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of data. That's huge data for last 50 years, maybe. So does AWS run out of space? Does AWS stop copying your data, making copies of data because there's terabytes and terabytes of data? And can it scale according to my data size? So all that, so how big is AWS and how further it can go if your demands are big, right? So we're going to discover that it's pretty big. I mean, AWS challenges us, hey, just bring it on. Okay, orchestration of containers. What are containers? So we're going to talk about containers and Amazon Elastic Container Service. The name of the service is this, and Kubernetes as well. This is where newer software is being deployed. When to use read replicas? Replicas are just read copies. So suppose you created a virtual machine. Suppose you created a virtual machine. Okay. So suppose you created a virtual machine here, and that is in North America, right? So it's in East US, right? And then you want its replica of the virtual machine in East Europe region, right? So that's where um, you know, this is the read and write copy. So RW, this is a users are connecting, right? And they're making modifications here, but it's being regularly copied to its replica virtual machine across a continent or just within the continent across another data center. Suppose I'm in Toronto and there's a data center in Toronto, and then there's another data center in Mississauga, which is like 50 kilometers, 40 kilometers, 30 kilometers there. It's just that far, and it's gonna send copies of whatever modifications are going on here in East region, right? So that would be the read replica, which means that it's just the read-only copy, right? Read-only copy of the machine. So it's kind of a backup of your machine, and it not only applies on virtual machines, but data. There's a read and write data, and then there is its read-only replica that can be created as far away as you want or as near to your data center as you want, right? Read-only data, right? So there's data read only, then data read and write. So if we, so we're going to be talking about that workflow orchestration, AWS step functions. So there's a workflow as well. One application does some work, then the second service or application does some work, then the third application does some work, right? So all this will be then we're going to check that how it works there, and it goes on and on. There's a, oh, wow. Okay. So I'm just going to be talking about sections now because that's a lot of stuff. But then there's skills in event-driven microservice scaling strategies, which is that if your virtual machines, there were 100 users expected to be connected on a virtual machine, but instead there are 100,000 users connected. So one machine could take 100 to 2,000 users, but 100,000, no way. So they will automatically create more machines and divide all the users automatically, 100,000 users to other machines. So that is scaling, that is called auto scale. We're going to do a lab on that too. Event driven just means that some event happened and you want to do something else because of that event. So suppose the software got shut down, sorry, virtual machine shut down. So that's an event. So in response to that, do you want any other application or service to do something else? So that's what it's about. We're going to talk about, we have a lots and lots of labs coming our way. And then high availability, we're going to talk about AWS region. So what is a global infrastructure? And then managed services with appropriate use cases. So there are some services that we need to check. Whatever we can test, we will test it. Whatever we can discuss, we will discuss it. That when do you use Amazon Poly? When do you use Comprehend? Basic networking, we're going to create networks. We're going to create VPCs and virtual private cloud. And we're going to create subnets inside there and load balancing, proxy concepts. So storage options. So pretty much a lot of, and again, availability zones, regions are coming. So they have a pretty long, uh, content related document here that this course relies upon. So Amazon Elastic file system. So yeah, we're going to be talking about storage, high performing storage, security, reliability. But when we do the labs, you will understand many of these features because when we're doing it, then we understand properly instead of just looking at it and asking about it or listening to it only. So databases, there's a full section of databases as well that we're gonna go through, but we're gonna create one Microsoft SQL here as well. Today we have done it on Azure as well. So it's pretty much the same lab, but we're gonna talk about other databases and what high availability options they have. Then again, it talks about VPN, direct connect, private link. So we're gonna be doing the labs on that. We have done VPN lab in the morning class with Azure. So that's kind of lab we're going to do in AWS as well, but it's done totally differently. And AWS has more security checks than Azure. So other than that, we will talk about storage. As an architect, you have to know a lot of services. So once we go through that, you're going to know, and all you need to do is really work hard, give it your 200% to understand these technologies, right? Access points, they're seriously, I should have some kind of water gun. They come in and throw water on that. Okay, so there's storage, lots of labs for storage, high availability of storage, security of storage, and there is multi-tier for storage as well. That whatever data you don't need, you can get rid of it. Whatever data you need, you save it. So there's automation tools for that as well. Then how to do backup, lifecycle manager, storage size, auto scaling. So we're gonna be lots of labs for that too. Cost customized, optimized. So which services offer cost exploring and cost related strategies that you can make, which applications help you with that. So we're going to talk about that and do the labs. Okay, so design cost, it's all about design, and you can just check that cost for networking, cost for storage, cost for virtual machines. So all that will be tested. So that's a lot of stuff that we will be going through, but that's the point. And it has to be hands-on. My suggestion is that you should be ready to give your 200% effort, because in the end, it's going to really benefit you when you have learned all these skills and repeated all the labs again and again, right? So that's something that we're going to be working on. Other than that, this is the study guide that you can purchase. And also,
Amirbai, can you send me the link of AWS uh,
yep, sure.
these
Yeah, this is in WhatsApp as well
content?
now. Yeah, sure. So it's in WhatsApp group where so many people I can see there. I put a invitation on that uh, on other groups, so lots of people are there. Okay, so this is also I'm going to be putting in OneNote, and so let me show you one more thing here. So guys, if you see well, it's in WhatsApp, but it's also going to be in OneNote. If you see um, the team that you have joined right now, there's a general written here. And this is the team on the left side. You don't see all this and ignore that. This is just mine. You should be only seeing AWS Architect and Security course, right? And here on the right side, there is a OneNote application that's going to have our all data. And so, guys, I'll be sending you invitation uh, and uh, and access to this OneNote, right? So as a guest, you will have access to this. You have to remember that you have to first click General, and I'll take screenshots of this. Then go to OneNote here, and then you have to click this book as well. So let me just take a screenshot of all this. And oh, okay, so screenshotting is kind of okay here. And so this is the whole thing. And then you select this. And also you have to go to this books icon, right? So that's where your stuff, your course content will be. And I'm going to be sending you WhatsApp. I will be sending you, I'm just putting in WhatsApp, invitation in your email to access the course material. You need to provide me your email so you could receive the invitation to access Teams and OneNote for course material. Okay. I'll be just needing your emails. You can put it on WhatsApp separately, your email address, or in the group, wherever you want. But I'll be sending you the invitation to the course material. Uh, and we're going to be doing a lot of labs. You have to be very familiar with the whole AWS environment. Otherwise, and you will have the videos, so obviously you will be able to follow up with everything. I'm just going to go for one other thing, that is um, the AWS security. So AWS security certification. So that is specialty certification, and so it is this page. So security certification. I'm putting everything on WhatsApp, as well as it's going to be once you have access to the OneNote, so you will have access to that as well. This credential helps organizations identify and develop talent with critical skills for implementing cloud initiatives. Earning AWS certified security specialty validates expertise in security specialty validates expertise in securing data and workloads in the AWS cloud. So that would be AWS security specialty is intended for individuals who perform a security role already. So you should be already as having a security role in the company, but it's never the case in any class in any college. So we're going to still explore it in a fun way, and you will be able to understand because we're going to do it, and then you will learn it. So when you do a practical, when you see a practical, you understand it easily. So here they say knowledge of AWS shared responsibility. So it just says that what are we expecting? But then I'm going to go to the download the exam guide. I'm going to just introduce some sections of that. And this is also security guide. So hopefully from WhatsApp, when you click, it opens for you as well. Oops. Okay. So the exam code for that is SCS-C01, right? And it talks about an understanding of specialized data classifications and AWS data protection mechanisms, and understanding of data encryption methods and AWS mechanisms to implement them. So again, specialized data classifications. So it's always huge data that is there, but it is not classified. It is not organized. That's why there's a full data scientist job role. They only work on data, organizing it, analyzing it, comparing it, encrypting it, securing it, making it highly available. It's so data scientist is a totally separate job as well, right? Because the whole company can go down, $1 million company can go down if their critical data is lost and sold to the rival companies, right? So data is that important. So AWS data protection, how data is protected in AWS. We need to understand that how data encryption works, what in-depth encryption strategies AWS has, because there are many paid applications that can decrypt your data, but can you really protect that data? Uh, so what are the different encryption methods? A working knowledge of AWS security services and features of services to provide a secure production environment, competency from 2 or more years of production. Yeah, they're still saying that, hey, you should be a superhero before you start that course. That's never the case in any class, in any college. Again and again, I'm saying that, but the target candidates should have the following knowledge. AWS shared responsibility model. Again, as I explained before, that it's responsibility of us as well as AWS to protect our data. Security controls for workloads on AWS. So what are the security controls there? Security mechanisms, security services in AWS to protect our workload. Workload is virtual machines and data, or containers and data, applications and data. Logging and monitoring strategies. So do you keep an eye on your data? And do you create log files? Do you keep watching those log files? What is going on? Somebody tried to log into something and failed 5 times. Maybe it's a hacker attempt. Cloud security threat models. So there is what kind of threats are there on this cloud, because your company's going towards cloud. It has half 50% of data or 80% of data in the cloud. So do you have some security models there? Or do you know what kind of threats are there? Patch management. So update your software always. Hackers go for vulnerabilities and then exploit those vulnerabilities and get access to your data. Ways to enhance AWS security services with third-party tools. So even they offer third-party tools, which third-party tools protect. And also you can be an ethical hacker. You can learn hacking and try to stay ethical after that. So ethical hacking would also be something that some of it would be part of this. And disaster recovery controls, including business continuity plan and backups. So do you take backups? How do you take backups of data? And if disaster does strike, do you know where are the recovery tools? What are the recovery tools there? Do you know in depth encryption? Access control, who accesses what for how long and why? Data retention, how long do you want to keep the critical data and what data you want to get rid of, right? So all that, and then yeah, they give the domains, then they go in depth with the security of virtual machines, security of other AWS services, um, and then design and security of monitoring alerts. What is your strategy of monitoring and alerting? Did you create critical alerts for critical data and critical virtual machines and applications? You have to manually create those alerts. Not all alerts are created for critical things. Companies don't know your critical stuff. You need to know your critical stuff, right? So did you create alerts for those? And how are you monitoring? Are you checking every day the most critical workload? Troubleshoot security monitoring and alerting if there were issues with security. Like some alerts were supposed to come, but they did not come. You were monitoring something, but still a hacker attack happened. So how do you troubleshoot that? How do you find the loopholes? How did the hacker really gain access to our data without us knowing that, right? Then there are implement logging solution. So you should create log files that would what is a log file? It's text file with timestamp and an event, right? So what is your logging strategy there? We're going to talk about that. Logging solutions. So, log files could get out of hand as well in terms of size. So how do you really secure that? And you have to, how do you really secure it, as well as that you could get rid of older log files as well. And then there is infrastructure security. So the whole design edge security on AWS. Well, it gives you some services right away. What is WAF? CloudFront and Route 53. Route 53 is just DNS, distributed denial of service attacks, application level attacks. So we're going to talk about all types of attacks and all types of defenses that we can do with that. Then there is network access control list, NACLs. There is a VPN and direct connect, and ports and protocols we're going to talk about. So when you start creating environments in AWS, you will start talking about these terminologies again and again, and you will be an expert of that, right? Network infrastructure. So yeah, securing network infrastructure, we're going to create that. So we're going to secure that too. The first course actually covers a lot of that, but then we're going to go a bit more in depth with this identity and access management, data protection. Obviously, all the data needs to be encrypted and password secured, and access to that should be limited. So overall strategies for that. So yeah, that's it. This would be overall how security course will go. Much of it could be repetition as well, what we do in AWS Solutions Architect, but many things will be totally related to security that are not in the first course, obviously. So, okay, guys, so these are the two courses that are there that we're going to be going through. let's take well, the thing is that we will be creating a free tier account. We can do that, you know, uh, either we do it next week or we can do it today and get some intro for that as well. Uh, if you have your credit cards handy somewhere, so we can do that. So let's take a break, 10-minute or 15-minute break, and then come back and try to discuss more about the course. And let's create a free tier account. Then I'm gonna give you introduction to the dashboard of AWS as well, right? So we're gonna have a break. Okay, class starts 5 or 6, so it's going to be 5:20. How many 10-minute, 20-minute break we take? 5:20 p.m. Class starts 5:20 p.m. break. Let's come back after that and let's create our account. So get your credit cards ready. Um, Obviously, they're not going to charge from them. It's free tier, but they need to know you are who you say you are, right? Okay, so let's take a break and come back.
சரி ஓகே. இப்போ சும்மா பிரேக் தான் நான் பண்ணேன். காலேஜ் போகணும் ஆஃப்லைன் எங்கே போகுது? அப்படி இல்லைனாலும் இந்த மாதிரி இப்போ ஆன்லைன் கோர்ஸ் இருக்குல்ல, இந்த மாதிரி ரிமோட் இப்போ ஆன்லைன் கோர்ஸ் பண்ணுற மாதிரி ஏதாவது ஒரு கோர்ஸ் அதிகம் அது மாதிரி தான் பண்ணாங்க. ஒரு காலேஜ் யூனிவர்சிட்டியில் ஒரு 3 months கோர்ஸ் அது. ஆமாம் ஆமாம், ஃபுல்லாக ஆன்லைன் தான். ஃபுல்லாக ஆன்லைன் பண்ணாங்க. அது போட்டதுக்கு அப்புறம் நான் போட்டு சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தேன், உனக்கு யாருமே சொல்லாமல் உனக்கு வேலையே கிடைக்காது, ரொம்ப கஷ்டம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தா. கரெக்டாக அவங்க யாருமே சொல்லவே இல்லை. அவங்க அதை பண்ணாங்க, ரெஸ்யூம் அப்ளை பண்ணாங்க, கிடைச்சிச்சு. சாப்பிட்றேன். ஓகே ஓகே. ஆமாம் ஆமாம் ப்ரோ, ஆமாம் ஆமாம். இல்லை இனிமேல் தான், ஒன்றும் வரலையே ஒன்று வீட்டுக்கு, அதனால வந்து பண்ணோம். இனி வெளில போயிருக்காங்க. ஆமாம் குளிர் பாருங்க. இதெல்லாம் ஒன்றும் இல்லை. ஆமாம். ஆனால் ஏப்ரல் வரைக்கும் இருக்கு, ஏப்ரல் வரைக்கும் போட்டோம். ஃபார்ம் வந்து அசைன் பண்ணி இப்போ நீங்கள் ஃபோன்லேயே செக் நீங்கள் இந்த இது பண்ணி ஃபோட்டோ எடுத்து அனுப்பிச்சி விட்டோம்னா அது வியூ ஆகிடும். ஆனால் உங்களுக்கு காப்பியும் இருக்கும். ம். பார்த்து அப்புறம் சரி. இப்ப இன்னைக்கு நான் 6 பேர் தான் ஜாயின் பண்ணிருக்காங்க. இவ ரெக்கார்ட் செஷன்னால இவரு அட்டன் பண்ண மாட்டாங்க. ரெக்கார்ட் செஷன் அது ரொம்ப சொல்யூஷன்ஸ் ஆர்கிடெக்ட் தான் அந்த கோர்ஸ் பண்ணிட்டு பார்க்குறேன். நிறைய வந்து சொல்யூஷன்ஸ் ஆர்கிடெக்ட் வந்து என்னோட ரோலுக்கு நிறையவே இருக்கு ஆக்சுவலாக இருக்குல்ல. நான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஸ்டார்டிங்ல ஏதோ மாதிரி யோசிச்சிருந்தேன். உங்களை இது வரைக்கும் கேட்கல. ரொம்ப இன்ட்ரெஸ்டாக போகும். ஆமாம்மா ஆமாம், அதில் வந்து ரொம்ப இன்ட்ரெஸ்டாக இதில் போவாங்க பாருங்க. அப்போ தான் நம்மளுக்கு கொஞ்சம் இது வரும்.
Okay, guys. Oh, throughout the break, I did not stop the recording. Seriously. Okay, guys. So I'm gonna continue now, and that's we were talking about the exam objectives. That's a lot of stuff that they have put in detail, and what services are included in that exam. So those services have to be mentioned. But now we need to create an AWS account, free tier account, uh, with where we're going to work, and then what kind of precautions you need to take and how to use that free tier account. So it is called free tier, but you have to be very, very careful what you do. So in terms of what, why do we have to be careful about that? So it's let's create an AWS student account in AWS. So there's no such thing as AWS student account. It's just free tier account. And this is the link for that. Oh, let me just write it. Free tier account in AWS. Okay, so I'm just gonna put that here in WhatsApp. I'm just gonna put that in WhatsApp here. Well, so there's a link there in WhatsApp, and you can just copy the link from there if WhatsApp is open in your computer as well. But you can also search in the Google, in just open Google and just type AWS free tier TIER account. So just type in Google AWS free tier account and then press enter. So let's go for that. Free cloud computing services. This is what you should be able to find, and I'm just gonna go for free cloud services. Yeah, I was telling my kids as well. And this is the main page. What are the precautions of a free tier account? What you need to be careful about in a free tier account. So we're going to talk about that. Okay, so if we go to free trial, so there is types of offers. Explore more than 100 products and start building on AWS using the free tier. 3 different types of free offers are available depending on the product used. So free trials, short-term free trial offers start from the date you activate a particular service. 12 months free, enjoy these offers for 12 months following your initial sign-up date to AWS. Always free, these free tiers offers do not expire and are available to all investors. So always free is just one small virtual machine that pretty much does nothing. I mean, but the virtual machine can start. So then there is some space, small space in storage, and there are several services that they offer free tier. So if we go down here, when you create an EC2 instance or a virtual machine, that virtual machine you can run 750 hours per month free for 12 months, right? And in free tier, when you create an Amazon storage to upload files and folders, so I mean, I'm on video and I'm like doing signal to my kids, so it's a pretty chaotic Saturday today. But when you get 5 GB free for 12 months with this account, Okay, what happens if you use more than 750 hours for a virtual machine in 1 month? So obviously, they're gonna charge you if you put more than 750 hours. So this means that when we create virtual machine, we will be closing you will be deleting that virtual machine at the end of the class. At the start of the class, we create the virtual machine. At the end of the class, we delete the virtual machine, right? Now, what happens is that if suppose you were running the virtual machine and you forgot to stop, so forgetting is your fault, obviously. We are learning here to become system administrators, cloud architects, cloud administrators, cloud engineers, right? So responsibility is the first thing we understand here as well. So whatever we use has consequences. It's free for 750 hours. You forget to delete it, or shut it down, better delete it, then you will be charged a few cents per hour, right? Guys, this is such critical course. I would suggest that be mentally prepared to, even if you had to pay $1 or $2 per month, or $3 or $4 per month, then you should be prepared to do that, because this much we spend daily on the coffee, right? So if you're spending like $5, $10 per month, it's not never going to reach that. If we are careful and if you follow all the rules I'm telling you, then it's going to be $0. But few cents, even if they come, you should be prepared to pay that few cents per per month, or maybe $1 per month. This is not nothing compared to, suppose you and practice a lot these services, and then you get a 50 per hour job, 40 per hour job, 30 per hour job. Then that $1 that you spent would be a lot worth it. But the thing is, you have to be careful. Whatever limits they have they've put here for free tier per month, you cannot cross those limits, right? And for DynamoDB, for any services that we're going to be using just to learn those services. So there are certain hours per month. You can use them free. After that, they will charge you, right? So that's pretty clear. And till now, many of the courses, students have been all careful, and they've done all their labs, and still accumulated like few cents only. They were willing to pay that. Mm. Once I paid okay, a lot more than that, but I needed to learn something myself which was pretty complicated. So I didn't care, because after that, it was paid off in my job. So okay, let's go ahead, and we're going to create a free account here. So let's click that free account, and you will be the root user of the account, and used for root user email address, used for account recovery and some administrative functions. AWS account name, choose a name for your account. So anyway, you need to put some kind of email there, and I'll try to put my Gmail here, idacademy@gmail.com. I think I've created from this an account already, and I'll go for AWS account name. You can say this name in your account, so it's AWS 2-in-1 course account, or you can just put any name. You just put your name, right? Or I can just go for and this, right? So then it says that verify your email address. I'm just going to click verify, and they say making sure you're secure. It's what we do. We send an email with a verification code to this email. So if you put your email, obviously just go to your email address and put that verification code. So I'm just gonna go to my other screen here, and I'm going to my Gmail, and I'm going to check it out. Check it out. Okay, so yeah, okay. Okay. You know what happened? For mine, it says this that AWS account already exists. Thank you for starting the new AWS account creation process. It appears that you already have an account with us. Please sign into your account using the email address where you received the message. So yeah, with this account, I have created that.
Mirwai, can you put my email address?
But you should be doing on your side this.
Okay.
Like you can go to this URL, right?
Yeah. Can you once when they want the what do you call that, the card number, so you can give
Yeah.
me the control so I can put my number there. Is that okay?
Oh, so you want me to create your account, but when
Yeah.
the
So everybody
credit card
look at
comes,
it.
then
Everybody will look at it and
no, it's going to be a general service for everyone. I mean, you're so generous to share your credit card with all of us. We're going to be very thankful. Just kidding. Okay. So the thing is, you need. I mean, you should be creating your own account. What's the issue? I mean, you can share your screen as well, and then I can tell you what to do. And wherever the credit card comes, and you can unshare your screen. We can go that way as well.
okay. Yeah. So how do I share my screen? I don't know how to do that. If you
Huh.
guide me.
So, do you see my screen with this whole thing? Do you see this?
Yeah, yeah.
So when you click share, then there will be a window opening, which window to share. Then you have to click a box after clicking the share button here, and then click a box and uh, which says share window. So just
Okay.
share that, double click that, and then we will see what is on your screen.
So I go to more action then. Uh,
Yeah.
more
And
action
yeah.
and
Mhm.
where it says is, screen sharing.
Window. So does it say window or does it show a window? Double click on that window or
It
box that
says
shows your screen.
uh, keypad, turn on live caption, show background effect, enter full screen, show call details, show device setting.
Oh, okay. You can take a screenshot of this. You know how to take a screenshot of this and then put it on WhatsApp. That way I can know that what are you doing or what are you seeing there. Or you can take a screen picture from your cell phone and upload it to this WhatsApp group.
Print
Picture
screen
from your cell phone, yeah, of the
and
screen.
and
And then I can show you where to click. Or you know what? Because it's a very basic task. So at the end of the class, I can help you then,
yeah,
because
I paste it on a
that's.
WhatsApp.
Oh, you did? Okay. All right, man. Okay. So stop. Oh no. You need to click sharing.
Where is sharing button?
No, no, no. It is sharing. You click that. Okay, this one. Stop share. This stop sharing. You have shared. So click stop sharing and then click sharing again and take a screenshot of that or take a picture from cell phone of that. Because I
Uh,
need to show that window when you click share. After that, a window appears. That window should be showing. Show called. No, that's not it.
open share tray. Is that this one?
Well, you have to click because
Open share tray is the name of icon, the download and upload down. Is this
no.
because this screen is new for me? I know the
Yeah.
Zoom one, but not this one. Uh,
So click sharing, and then on the left side it will show.
it says screen, meeting, join conversation, screen
Uh,
one.
yeah,
Is that
screen one. That you double click. Screen one.
okay?
Now I can see your screen. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not exactly. It's pretty like you can minimize your screen.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, now I can see your screen. Okay, so where are you? You can open your Um,
From WhatsApp, what link you send? The free account?
from, yeah, exactly. This is the one. Click create account. And then, yeah, you can put your email, whichever you're working on every day. At gmail.com. And then just put your name there. Yeah, okay. And verify email address, then go to your this email and there will be a code there, then put that code there.
Okay.
So guys, others, if you have gone through the form and if you have any question, then let me know or put in the chat that what do you answer this question, what do you answer that question if you are all creating the accounts. If you're signing up with AWS free tier.
793. Okay. This is my verification account.
Okay.
Verify.
Yep. And now you can give a password there. There's any difficult password you can give.
Okay.
And remember it. So anyone else creating that account? Like Vijay, have you created this? David, have you created this? Octavian, Leonard, Isor, anyone?
Yes, Samir, it's done.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
And you're logged in. Okay, continue.
Continue.
And it's personal. Full name, and then yeah, then you go with the whole form here, address, city, right? So you can unshare that screen because obviously that's then your personal information.
So how I share?
Unshare is you go back to Teams, wherever that was. No, where's the team? Down below, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, this one. And go to this, and yeah, there's a cross, small cross you can see here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one. Stop sharing. Yeah, this one. Okay, click that.
Yeah.
Now we cannot see your screen. And I'm going to share back my screen. Okay, now you should be seeing my screen. So I'm going to quickly create that AWS console or account that I was creating. So yeah, it's existing. I don't want that. So I'm just going to go for another account quickly and create that. So do not know really recent code, not you. Root username. Okay. I'm just putting one more email here, and I'll put there. Okay, my name. So now I'm gonna check that quickly on the other side. The other email address. Oh, kidding me. I also created from this. I've been teaching before, so yeah, I've exhausted all my accounts. I have to just quickly create a new. Okay, that's not good. I will quickly go for guys, I'm creating a Gmail account quickly.
So do I need to put my phone number also here?
Yeah. Yes, you have to put the correct phone number because they're gonna send a code, security code there. I'll go incognito, new Gmail account. I'll just try to be very quick. And create an account. Okay.
So address is necessary?
Address is necessary because they're going to compare with the credit card.
Okay.
Okay, I'm creating. Okay, password. I'm just creating another account quickly, guys, and it's not gonna take that much time. Phone is 647 554 Copy email address. And date of birth. Gender. Next. Okay, there will be a security code here. It's 983 600 600 Wi-Fi.
So can I put debit card or is it good?
No, it will only accept credit card.
Okay.
Wow. As soon as we said credit card, the machine was not happy with that. Gmail. Okay, I'm in with a new account. So I'll just put that account here. It's so Raza, can you mute your mic? Is or whoever this sound is coming from?
Yeah, my mic.
Okay, thank you. AWS doing 2.1 verify. Oh, sorry, at gmail.com. Yeah, also AWS 2.1. AWS 2.1 at gmail.com. Yeah. Oh, okay. Name. Okay. So yeah, I received the code finally. Phew. Okay. So this is how the code looks like here, and I'll copy this and this email will look like this. So okay, so now I'm just gonna quickly fill out the card, the rest of the form. Um, Step one of this full name, and it's +1 year. Well, it needs actually correct info. Country or region. 1.1. Address. Okay, guys, so I'm just gonna unshare the screen so I could just fill out or I'll share the screen, but I'll just take this to the second screen and fill out everything, and then so I'm filling out the form because I need to show you the and address. Oh, sorry, the dashboard as well, and not show the address. Toronto, Ontario. Personal and okay, so now it's asking for credit card information. I'll just quickly give that. I was about to read the credit card number out loud. And expiration date. Holder's name. Okay. Text. Yeah, it's gonna send me a text and mobile phone number. And the
It says CA. CA means Canada?
yeah.
Okay. I'm on step 3.
Oh. Security risk characters I made a mistake on. And I'm in Canada, not in US. Okay. 8 SCPY. Oh man, Susan. I'm putting the correct security characters. Okay, now they have. Okay, I got it. Confirm your identity, verify code. Okay, the code is there. And now we're okay. So basic support free. Yeah, so we're gonna go for basic. Oh, I'm just gonna show now. So we are here, basic support free, or we don't need the support, $29 per month or $100 per month. So we're gonna keep it basic and go for complete sign in. Congratulations, thank you for blah blah blah. Okay, guys, so this is a AWS Management Console, and I'm gonna go for root user, right?
Can you fill
Yeah.
up my this? I'm on number 4 step.
What's the number 4 you're doing?
Yeah, can I share my screen now? I have
Sure.
done. Okay. So press where should I
Sharing
click?
and window 1.
Window. I don't see window 1 here.
First click share.
Okay, screen 1.
Screen 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
So text message, Canada, my number.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
just put that here. NRHN. I think it's D5. NRHN D5.
T5.
Yeah, D5.
Okay.
Hopefully that's it. So yeah,
It's all capital or small?
it's okay.
Huh?
I guess it's not case sensitive, but okay.
NR
NRHN D5.
NG5.
Yeah, but yeah, you're good. Now there's another code in your phone, and then put that code and you should be good. So okay. Is there a code in the phone? It comes right away.
Is on email or text?
It's on the phone.
Oh, in the text. Okay.
Yeah, text.
Yeah. 2907. 2907.
Okay. Basic is good. Click continue. Yeah, it's okay. It's already clicked.
The first one, right?
Yeah.
Just continue.
Yeah. Complete. Orange button. And then again, orange button that takes you to the AWS Management Console. And then root user, it's already selected. So put your email address there and then password. Okay. Yeah. So
Next.
Yeah, next. And then whatever your password is. So yeah, now I'm going to share my screen, right? You're good, right? Save. Oh, too late. Okay. So yeah, there it is. That's where we should be. So now I'm going to share my screen, and so I can show what I can give an introduction to.
So
I hope. Yeah.
Right now they are not going to charge me.
No.
Unless we do any project.
Yes.
Okay.
So here, root user email address, and I'm going to go for the email address that I put there, Amr Shahzad, AWS 2-in-1 at gmail.com. Next, and then word and sign in. I'll just save it in the browser, so next time I don't have to remember it. But okay, so there's that AWS also. This is the dashboard, right? So if I click next here, then this is services. Then it says that this is the settings for language prefer, whichever you prefer, and then this is the search where you can search all the services, right? But this is when you land here on the top right. What do you see here is Ohio, right? If I click that, so all the regions that are there are showing. Okay, let me just right there. So we need to be US East 1. Actually, there is Canada Central here as well. But, long time I had known that there are more services available in US East than Canada Central. So that's why it's good to have, US East North Virginia instead of Ohio. But it automatically connects to the nearest data center. Normally it does that. So I'm just going to click US East North Virginia here, and we can stick to that region. So if I go to maps here, and if I go to Google Maps, we are all basically in GTA, and I'll just quickly go out. So we are not, connecting really far. It's North Virginia. Hey, where's North Virginia anyway? Where's
US
Virginia?
East 1, you think?
Yeah, US East 1. So we are here in Toronto or the Greater Toronto area, and we are connecting to the nearest data center that would be here in, there's the West Virginia. So there's Virginia here. So we're connecting to a data center somewhere here, right, in this area. So that's West Virginia, but that is North Virginia. So North would be then this area, I guess, or this area, or this, right? Okay, so this is the distance we're talking about, maybe 1,000 kilometers here, right, or 900 kilometers.
Most of
Uh-huh. Okay. Let's go ahead and now we're going to
I mean,
oh my
most
goodness.
of the time we do US East one.
Yes.
Okay. So once you select US East one, is stay there, or it automatically
once
changes?
no, that's it. Once we select it, it stays there.
Okay.
Right? Okay, now that is the first thing that we're going to connect to the correct region. And the second thing is that if you click your name, then you see here on the right side, your account ID and your account, organization, service quotas, billing dashboard, security credentials. So our most favorite area would be billing dashboard, right? So on the top right, your name and then billing dashboard. Let's click that billing dashboard, and it should be obviously 0. First of all, we haven't done anything, so that's why it's not showing anything as well. But once we start doing something, then it is going to show. But we're gonna always visit this from time to time. One important thing about that is that we should be creating an alert for any billing. Now, we're going to be very careful, obviously, and we're not going to do anything drastic or that costs us. So, and also it's a free tier account, so 750 hours of virtual machine, or we're going to always stay in the limit which AWS has provided to us. But we still need to create some kind of billing alert here. So there is that free tier written on the left side, free tier, right? So if I click the free tier within the billing, so this is just showing that there is no free tier services data available. So you haven't used any data, so that's why there's nothing available to show. So anyway, this is if I go on the top right, so this is where we were, right? If I go above billing dashboard, there's a service quotas written here as well. Service quotas, right? So if we click the service quotas here, then okay. So here they do say that which there are services here that they have mentioned, and quotas available, or how much you can use. Some of that information is available here. But anyway, the most important thing would be then if we go on totally on the other side, on the left side, and you see a lot those 9 dots there. Once you click that, so this is where all the services are available. In fact, I'm going to go for this one, which says all services. So let's click that all services here. And once we click all services, now it just keeps going. Or we can actually view it this way, view all services, which is this one, right? So now this is the overview of all services. Well, that's a lot of services. And, AWS just tries to offer any kind of perceivable service that any corporate would need, any company would need. And AWS is trying its best to provide that. So if we check the categories here, there is compute, which is all about EC2 instances or virtual machines. EC2 is Elastic Compute Cloud. So that's a weird name for a virtual machine, right? EC2. And then there are many services here, but we're going to be going through some of the services that are covered, that are the exam objectives or certification objectives. Then there's containers. Containers are lighter virtual machine kind of thing, but they're not virtual machines. And we're going to be talking about difference between virtual machine and containers. But later, first we're going to create user accounts. We're going to create groups. We're going to check security policies of user accounts and groups, and we're going to do some labs on that. Right now, it's just the introduction going on. Storage. Then there are storage services that we're going to be covering according to the exam objective, database, then migration and transfer, networking and content delivery. We're going to create networks and subnets as well. Then there is developer tools, customer enablement, robotics, blockchain, satellite. You want to connect your company to via satellite to some other, so they have their own satellites as well, AWS, and or they have rented on somebody else's satellite some services for AWS. So you could be transferring data through their ground station via their satellites to other part of the earth. So quantum technologies, management and governance, a lot of labs here as well. Media services. So I'm just going for the categories first of all. Machine learning, lots of stuff here as well. Analytics, security, identity, and compliance. So this has IAM, identity and access management, which is where we will actually be starting, because that's where we will be creating users and groups and policies and security for the users, right? But it also has a lot of security related tools. Then comes AWS cost management. It's pretty critical to know. Suppose you're suggesting your boss, hey boss, we for this project we need 20 virtual machines, 3 databases, 5 VNets, and 20 subnets per VNet. So you give a long list, and then the boss says, okay, how much it will cost. So then there's a AWS Cost Explorer that you can always check with, and you actually put that requirement there that per month I'm going to be using 20 virtual machines, 5 databases, 5 VNets, 20 subnets for VNets, etc., etc., etc. Then it will tell you that, okay, so per month your cost will be approximately this, and this. So this is very good to uh, go to this tool before you start the project, and not when you get your first bill and the whole company is shaken up. Whoa, what is this? So yeah, and then there is front end web and mobile. So if you want to connect to mobile devices or and manage them, and certain services for the front end web, which is just the end user side of the web application or website of a company. So these are services for managing that. AR and VR are, and this is just that what you put on your eyes, and then virtual reality, augmented reality, and virtual reality related stuff. Application integration, you want to, if you're a programmer, a developer, you can go for that. But business applications, so there are different types of business scenarios there, what they can offer. End user computing, workspaces, app stream, again, and related to end users. Internet of Things, IoT, this is pretty famous. So anything that has IP address, suppose your refrigerator, your fridge, where you put your water and all the food, suppose it has an IP address, and then you can control your refrigerator through cell phone, control there, it's cold, or maybe you can put on the cell phone, hey fridge, come, you're on the sofa, and you tell the fridge to slide towards you, and then open up, and you take something out, and then press the button, and the fridge goes back to the, I'm just kidding. Okay, so yeah, game development, but any device that has IP and you can control over the network comes in the IoT area. And if you're a game developer, then AWS offers those tools as well. So that's a lot of services that AWS offers, but solutions architect associate will have to create a solution for a company comprising of, like combination of all those skilled services. And obviously you should be knowledgeable about majority of those services here that would be involved. So storage would be involved, containerization, maybe compute, which is virtual machine, and then obviously the security, identity, and compliance, very, very important section here. Management governance, also very important section here. And networking, very, very important. So there are some sections that we will be dealing with again and again throughout this course. and the next one as well. O and K. So now what we need to do is that was the total introduction day, and I wanted you to see how to log in and some introduction to this console. There's that command line interface as well here. This one where you can put commands within the browser as well. So overall, this is just the introduction of AWS, and we will be actually starting step by step all the labs in next class. This is just overall, what this course comprises of. It's a lot of labs coming your way, and the only way to work is to actually do it. So it's all total hands-on from here. That's the only theory day or theory class. It's the first class is always a theory class. After that, it's lab, 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 lab. And obviously it's not going to be recorded, so you can you can always repeat everything. Now, one more thing about this is that you don't really have to follow me during the class. If you're fast enough and you are not going to slow me down, then you can follow. Otherwise, understand all the concepts, sit back, uh, see what I'm doing, what I'm trying to prove here, ask questions as many as you can, but you don't have to follow me during the lab. It's up to you if if I don't have to guide you with every step, then obviously we won't be able to cover these two courses in near future. Then it's going to be really delayed course. So let me just then finish the whole topic and let me record that topic. Then you can follow the recording. But here you have the luxury still of asking any question and completely understanding. Any course, first thing is, do you understand the concept? This is the most important thing. Second thing is then, did you repeat the labs 2 or 3 times? And then third thing is that you can do certification at the end of the course. So yeah, if I have to there's a lot of labs I want to show, but if the course goes slow, then some of the labs have to be converted to theory, which I don't want, right? So if you're stuck again and again and again, then try to just first not follow all the labs that I'm doing, and then when the video comes out, just follow everything 2 or 3 times. And if there's any question, you can even you can always ask on WhatsApp, hey, what about this? I'm stuck in this. The video shows this, but I'm doing this and it's not exactly showing. So then I or any of the users will be able to help you out with this. But when you're following video, you can't miss anything, right? It's mouse is going there, click, then it's going there, click. So majority of the students just practice, 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 and then they become experts, right?
Amin bhai,
Mhm.
do we have a class every day or only weekend, like Saturday, Sunday?
Only Saturdays.
Only Saturday.
Yeah.
Do you think we can cover in only Saturday, like 3 days?
Well, uh, I could ask everyone who is here that do you want another weekday other than Sunday, any weekday evening, 3 hours you want extra, then we can do that.
Yeah, like at least like 3 day is good for, so under your supervision, we do practice, that's better. Like you do one time lab, we do one time. So we can ask right away questions, right?
Well, when I'm doing this, you can ask questions, but I can give one more day if everyone agrees to that. So you can put it on WhatsApp, or we can put it to vote that other than Saturday, are you willing to give evening 7 to 10, or one weekday evening 7 to 10, or 6 to 9? So I can do
I'm
that. Then
ready.
we can go faster with the course.
Yeah, at least 2 to 3 days. 3 days must, you should give,
Yeah,
Uh,
so two to
yeah,
3 days depends, right? Some of us are pretty much preoccupied, right? So we can actually
me
put it
too.
like you said. We can put it
Mhm.
3 will be on the
Okay.
high side.
Yeah, so if maybe Monday, Tuesday we can have another day from 6 to 9 or 7 to 10, up to you, up to all agreeing to that. And then we can carry on, because then I can show you more labs. But video is available for repetition, right? So if everyone agrees, then we can have that. Let me know on WhatsApp. I'll ask that question. So uh, then it's Tuesday, 3 to no 6 to 9, 6 to 9 or 7 to 10, right? That would be the next one more day, because after job 9 to 5, it's like really hectic. So we're all tired. So the thing is that, yeah, we need to also have a peace of mind. Uh, so yeah, I can add one more day here. The course might finish faster then.
So Tuesday, you think 7 to 10?
Yeah, 7 to 10 or 6 to 9, whichever.
7 is okay, yeah.
Well, you're saying that, but others are quiet, so
Yeah,
I'm not sure what.
whichever is good,
Okay, I'll put it on WhatsApp, and then um, yeah, I'll put it on WhatsApp, and then you can answer that question. Right. Right, guys. So any questions other than that? Then have a nice weekend, and see you next week. But with all the labs we're gonna be doing. Any questions for now?
So,
Let me know. Mhm.
so we log out now from the
Yep.
screen.
Yeah. And so guys, if you are creating or testing any services here, oh, let's see how this virtual machine gets created, and you create a virtual machine and then you forget, and the virtual machines keep running, that's not good. So do the labs with me, so you will understand that how to do the labs and how to be very careful. And after that, yeah, you're good. Once you understand all the rules, then you will be good. But don't try this now without following me, unless you know already what you do. Cool.
So
Hey
our
guys.
lab start from Tuesday, basically, the coming Tuesday. So today is the introductory day, right?
Well, yeah, I think next week Tuesday will start.
Yeah, so they're coming.
Yeah, so like next week. So from now, after this, there will be another class Saturday. After that, Saturday, Tuesday. So not this Tuesday, next Tuesday, Saturday. Saturday.
So it's gonna be like after 10 days.
Yeah, if we count, it's 10. First
10
Saturday
days.
and then Tuesday. Yeah.
Okay, so Saturday and then Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So let's go ahead and yeah. So have a nice weekend, and see you next Saturday. And then after that, Tuesday as well, because everyone's quiet. Quiet means yes. I don't know, I'm assuming. Okay. So bye bye, guys.
Thanks, Amar. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
अच्छा आमिर भाई एक चीज पूछ रहा था आपसे मैं। हेलो, आप हैं? एम रजा। All services, view all services. Okay.